Who are you? Oh, you're the one they couldn't play. The one who looked a liar in the eye and smiled because you already knew the punchline before the joke began. You see too much. You hear the silence behind their sweet words. You read the tremble in their truth. They call you crazy, but you're not insane. You're just unfoolable. You don't trust easily, not because you're broken, but because you've seen masks fall off faces that swore they loved you. You learned the game. Now you don't just play it. You build the rules. They tried to gaslight you, twist your words, question your memory. And for a while, you doubted yourself, but not anymore. Now your psychotic clarity terrifies them. You see the cheat codes in their charm. You hear the fear in their laughter. You decode every smile, every slip, every pause. You don't just read energy, you expose it. They can't fool you because your mind, it's built from chaos. Your trauma gave you sight, not weakness. You learned that the most dangerous people are the ones who call themselves innocent. You don't need revenge. Your awareness is the punishment. You catch the lie in their first sentence. You spot the betrayal in their eyes before they blink. You've seen this movie too many times, and now you're the director. They say you're cold now, but you weren't born that way, and you were conditioned, forged in lies, tempered by betrayal. You gave your soul to people who couldn't even give you honesty. And now, your silence is terrifying, because when you stop explaining, that's when the storm hits. You don't argue anymore. You observe, because fools talk, but kings calculate. And while they're running their mouths, you're writing, they're ending. You're not emotional. You're surgical. You don't react. You respond. Your enemies? They study your every move now, because you've become a mystery wrapped in scars, a mind too sharp for comfort, a heart too locked for trespassers, a presence that burns liars like sunlight on shadows. They once laughed at your overthinking. Now they fear your intuition. They said you were too intense. But intensity is just what truth feels like in a world full of cowards. You're not too much. They were just never enough. You don't just walk into a room now. You shift the gravity of it, because you've become the person your enemies warn each other about. They called you paranoid, because you saw through the masks before they slipped. You read silence like a novel, and caught red flags dressed up as good intentions. You were never psychotic. You were just 5 steps ahead. You weren't broken. You were wide awake in a world that sleeps through betrayal. And that scared them. You ask nothing now, because you expect nothing. Not apologies, not honesty, not loyalty. You saw too much, felt too deep, and gave too real to ever fall for fake again. You're not heartless. You're just done playing fair in a rigged game. Done begging for closure in a room full of liars. Because when you woke up, when you finally saw it all with unfiltered eyes, you stopped waiting for a hero. You became the villain in their story, the dark force they never expected to fight with a conscience. Your instincts? Sharper than truth, colder than revenge, cleaner than karma. You don't react with noise anymore. You respond with disappearance. You used to cry. Now you calculate. You used to beg. Now you watch, and that's what terrifies them. They played checkers, but you were playing chess with shadows. You let them believe they had power. Then you let their own lies become their punishment. Now when they look in your eyes, they don't see pain. They see a reflection of everything they tried to destroy and failed. Because no one can fool you. You don't need a mask. You became the storm, and guess what? You still smile. Not because you're happy, but because you survived what was meant to destroy you, and you came back smarter, sharper, and more dangerous. They thought you were emotional, but what they didn't know was that you were calculating every betrayal, recording every smirk, remembering every time they thought you were weak. You don't trust words anymore. You trust patterns, and patterns never lie. People do. You don't want revenge. Revenge is loud. You prefer silence that bleeds. A quiet exit. A look that says, I saw it all. I just chose to play dead until the right time. And now it's that time. They lied. You smiled. They played. You watched. And now they're scared of the person they created, because they can't control the version of you that doesn't need them anymore. You're not insane. You're just the only one who paid attention. You sat in rooms full of snakes and never flinched. You gave warnings wrapped in kindness, but they laughed. Now you're the final lesson they'll never forget. You're done explaining, done begging to be understood. You don't need validation. You are the validation. They don't get to call you crazy now, not after you survived every mind game and came back with the rule book they tried to burn. They don't fear the past version of you. They fear the rebuilt, heartless, highly aware version of you that walks away with nothing except every secret they tried to hide. You're not emotional anymore. You're strategic. You're not cold. You're controlled. And here's the part that haunts them. You used to love them. You used to care. You would have fought the world for them. Now, you wouldn't even pick up the phone, because no one can fool you anymore. Not the jokers. Not the liars. Not the masked angels with devil's intentions. Your psychotic mind isn't broken. It's the only thing that's ever been awake in a world that's asleep. They thought breaking you would end the story, but all they did was build the villain they were never ready to face. And now, their lies echo in the silence you left behind, because the monster they feared, you didn't become it. You mastered it.